Omayanatimidandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitanjena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So Dandavat pranams to all. We are continuing with our Śaraṇāgati reading and discussion. And as I mentioned, our usual hostess, Suvasini, she's actually on her way here now, so she won't be able to host. And also next week, she'll be traveling back to Ireland next Wednesday too. So unfortunately, we're going to miss her for these 2 weeks. Okay, so I think we're on song 13. Please correct me if anyone thinks otherwise. And we're in this section of Atma Nivedana, self-surrender, the second section within Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songbook of Śaraṇāgati. So that's on page 107, for those of you who are looking at the physical copy. And so let's listen to this song then. Song 13. And we ended our last meeting with that beautiful expression. This song is so profound, that last song, song 12 that we went through, speaking about like basically the demolition of ego, right? And then this last verse of the song is so wonderful. Tomar ichai mor ichamishaila bhaktivinoda japane bulila. Your, now the Bhaktivinoda is saying, to the Lord, your desires have now merged with my desires. Today, Bhaktivinoda has forgotten himself, right? This is the acme of surrender, right? Where one recognizes that one's happiness lies in the Lord's happiness. We were also discussing this point was coming up in our reading of Chaitanya Charitamrita also today and yesterday, describing how the highest devotees, their only happiness is in the Lord's happiness. And it mentions proof of that is that when symptoms of ecstasy come as a result of their devotion for Krishna, they're actually unhappy about that sometimes, if those symptoms of ecstasy interrupt their service. Right? Like it mentions one, I think it's Daruka, he's like fanning the Lord, and he's becoming stunned in ecstasy, fainting, he can't continue with his service, and he's condemning that ecstasy, right? Because it's inhibiting, it's obstructing his service. And we also hear Radharani's expression, right, that next time Krishna comes in front of me, I won't worship Krishna, I'll worship time instead. Because when Krishna comes before me, then ecstasy comes and I'm distracted, I cannot give proper attention to Krishna. So instead I'll worship time so that Krishna may stay a little longer and I can give proper attention to my service, like that. So it is a very peculiar thing, right? The greatest happiness comes from the spirit of foregoing our own happiness. It is a peculiar twist. Sacrificing our own happiness for the happiness of one's beloved Lord, that yields the greatest degree of happiness. And that is like the revolution of consciousness, which we are trying to move towards, aspiring to move towards. Okay, so let's listen to this song 13.
আমারো বলিতে প্রভু আরে কিছু নাই, আমারো বলিতে প্রভু আরে কিছু নাই, তুমি আমার মাত্র পিতা বন্ধু ভাই, তুমি আমার মাত্র পিতা বন্ধু ভাই, বন্ধু দ্বারা সুতা সুতা তব দাসী দান, বন্ধু দ্বারা সুত সুতা তব দাসী দান, সেই আমার প্রেয়াস
সেই তো সম্বন্ধে সবে আমার প্রয়াস।
ধন জন গৃহদার তোমার বলিয়া
ধন জন গৃহদার তোমার বলিয়া
রক্ষা করিয়া আমি মাত্র সেবক হইয়া
রক্ষা করিয়া আমি মাত্র সেবক হইয়া
তোমার কাজে তরে উপার্জিব ধন
তোমার কাজের তরে উপজীব
তোমার সংসার ব্যয় করিব বহন।
তোমার সংসারে করিব বহন।
ভালো মন্দ নাহি জানি সেবা মাত্র করি
ভালো মন্দ নাহি জানি সেবা মাত্র করি
তোমার সংসারে আমি বিষয় কাহরি
তোমার সংসারে আমি বিষয় প্রহরী
তোমার ইচ্ছায় মোর ইন্দ্রিয় চালনা
তোমার ইচ্ছায় মোর ইন্দ্রিয় চালনা
শ্রবণ দর্শন ঘ্রাণ ভোজন বাসনা
শ্রবণ দর্শন গান ভজন বাসনা
নিজ সুখ লাগি কিছু নাহি করিয়া
নিজ সুখ লাগি কিছু নাহি করিয়া
ভক্তি বিনোদ বলে তব সুখ সার।
ভক্তি বিনোদ বলে তব সুখ সার।
আমি নিজ সুখ লাগি নাই কিছু নাহি করি
আর নিজ সুখ লাগি কিছু নাহি করিয়া
ভক্তি বিনোদ বলে তব সুখ সার।
ভক্তি বিনোদ বলে তব সুখ সার।
Okay, a beautiful song. Okay, let's maybe I'll just mention we're skimming through the translation as we go through, and I'm reminded, it's describing this very beautiful, wholehearted mood of surrender, right? Where one is feeling that everything that's coming within their so-called possession, right, is actually all they're recognizing in a very heartfelt way. It is all the Lord's property, right? Without the absence, because as the previous song was discussing, it's the influence of the false ego, the ahankar, that causes one to feel, oh, this is mine, right? But when that sheet is removed, when that veil of illusion is removed, then one realizes, oh, everything is the Lord's actually, and these things are just in my care, right? And so although the surrendered soul may be surrounded by various forms of opulence, family, property, wealth, they're not thinking it is mine, right? But this is, these are my family members, they're all the servants of the Lord, all my property, my wealth, it is the Lord's property. They are resources to be used in the service of the Lord, who is the actual proprietor of it, right? And reading these expressions, I'm also reminded of this one incident we heard from Srila Sridhar Maharaj. It was one sannyasi. it was a disciple, a sannyas disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he was like a successful preacher, and he was preaching in a particular region, and he had a fairly big following. And he had a whole community, right, which was supporting, the temple which he was heading up, and supporting his preaching and so on. And but he maintains this semi-independent position, where it was like he had his own setup going on, and he was like receiving the honor, receiving the resources coming from this local community, and giving some of that to his guru Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, but it was more or less like his own program that was running on, right? And Saraswati Thakur, he tolerated this, for many years. And then at the end of his life, he said something to him. And it was like a long time it was like many years. It was like 10, 20 years that sannyasi had been going on like that. And at one point, towards the end of his days, Saraswati Thakur suddenly brought it up with him in this very direct and heartfelt manner. And he said, "You could not see me." He said, "You could not see me." And he said, "Your concern is with me, but instead you have become like a broker. You're collecting so much, people are giving you so much, and you're passing along something to me. And you've become like a broker, but actually your only concern is with me, with myself and with the Lord." Right? And so this like what's being described here is just the opposite of that mentality, right? That the devotee is seeing the Lord's connection with everything. Not seeing, oh, this is coming to me and this is mine, but oh, this is another ingredient to be used in the service of the Lord, another person, another item, which is in the service of the Lord. The Lord's connection is seen behind everything. There's no independent, separate concern, right? This is the mood of the surrendered soul. And it is something to consider, right? Because, there may be different phases in our life of service where, as a result of what dedication we have, more prestige may come to us, more resources, more wealth, more followers. And we have to be attentive to not become corrupt, right? And to remember that all of this is to be used in the service of the Lord. I'm not keeping anything for myself. And that is also one kind of test, right? That, we are going to, there's this expression. I believe it's in a list given by Vishwanath. I've mentioned it a few times, by Vishwanath Chakravarti, where he mentions different obstacles the practitioner will face on the path. And one of them is dabbling in the byproducts of devotion. Dabbling in the byproducts of devotion, right? As a result of some genuine devotion, then name and fame may come, followers, wealth. But then are those things then going to become a distraction? And then we become more focused on that, and we lose our way, we lose track. That is a test that will come at one point on the path for everyone. So it is like Srila Sridhar Maharaj gives the analogy of compound interest, right? The devotees are reinvesting. Like you have your capital, and whatever interest is coming, you're not keeping that you're not spending that, but you're reinvesting it, right? You're not spending that interest for your own purpose, but you're reinvesting it. And then in that way, your capital is getting bigger, right? So we're trying to keep that awareness as we go along the path. We have to be a little alert. And we want to remind ourselves, what is it that we really want? Right? What is it? Why Srila Gurudev made this one comment that really struck me. Like, we must remember for what we have come. What did we come for? And we can ask ourselves from time to time, is that why I'm still here? Let me examine, my intentions. Let me maintain my purity of intention at every step along the way. So let's go through this beautiful song here. Amar bolite Prabhu ar kichu nai, tumi amar matra kita bandhu vai. O Lord, nothing else is to be considered mine. You alone are my father, my friend, and my brother. Now we have in Srila Sridhar Maharaj's commentary. O Lord, nothing else. Oh, sorry. Kita bandhu vai. You alone are my father, my friend, and my brother. And Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna prays to Krishna similarly. Tasmat pranamya pranidaya kayam prasadaye tvam maham isham idyam iteva putrasya sakeva sakyuhu priya priyayarhasi deva shodam. Offering my prostrate obeisance unto you, I pray for your mercy, O worshipable Lord. As a father, friend, or lover forgives his son, dear companion, or beloved, please mercifully forgive my offenses. We'll go on to verse 2 here. Bandhu dada sutta sutta tavadasi dasa seto sambandhe sobe amar prayas. My friends, wives, sons, and daughters are all your servants and maidservants. All my endeavors are based on that relationship. So in all of my exchanges with all of these persons in my company, I'm seeing your connection. I'm seeing the Lord's connection. Their relationship with the Lord. Dan jan griha dwara tomar bolia raksha kori ami matra seva hoya. Considering my wealth, relatives, and household to be yours, only as your servant do I maintain them. Tomar karje tare upar jibodan, tomar samsarvyat koribo baham. In order to maintain what is yours, I will earn money and bear the expenses of your household. And even one's own body, right, will be seen in that way. One's own body is seen to be the property of the Lord. So how is it that I'm caring for my body? Because it is the Lord's property. I must take care of the Lord's property. I am also the Lord's property. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's this incident when Sanatana Goswami, he attempts to commit suicide, or he's planning. Then Mahaprabhu, of course, he's the all-seeing, omniscient Lord. He intervenes and he gives him some chastisement. And this is one of the points that he makes. He says, "You are my property. How do you have the right to destroy someone else's property?" Like, it isn't your decision. It's not down to you. It's not up to you. It is not your decision, that you don't have the right to make such a decision, to end your life. That is within my jurisdiction, because you belong to me. You are my property. Our Gurudev, he actually told that once to one of our devotees in America, Bimala. Some of you may know her, Bimala. She's an incredible devotee, force of nature, does incredible service her whole life, but she's very neglectful of her own body, and she's a little frail too. She doesn't take care of herself properly. But our Gurudev once, out of frustration, he told her, like, you belong to me. You have to take care of yourself. He was saying that she actually showed me in a letter, and he said something like that. Like, you have to take care of yourself. You belong to me. You must take care of yourself. He said it like that. Like, this is also part of your service to me, to take care of yourself. So this is like the adjustment. And this is what is so interesting, right? Because the devotees, they may be living in exactly the same way as any other person on the street, right? Objectively speaking, they have a house, they have a family, they have children, they have a job, right? They're dressing nicely and so on, and watching the news and whatever it may be. But their standpoint is completely different, completely different. They are seeing the Lord's presence, the Lord's connection behind everything. They're not feeling a sense of ownership over anything. They may dress very nicely, decorate their bodies very nicely, but they're thinking, I'm doing this as a part of my service, right? I'm representing my guru, I'm representing the Vaishnavas, so I'm going to dress nicely, right? The whole standpoint is completely different, completely different. So it's a very profound meditation. And it's very purifying, right? It is very purifying. The same action which can be binding, it will become liberating. This point is made in Bhagavad Gita. That just with some shift in consciousness, your action, which previously was binding, the cause of bondage, it becomes the cause of liberation, the cause of purification, just through that simple shift in consciousness. Simple or perhaps not so simple. Shift in consciousness, right? Keep making that connection with the source. So in order to maintain what is yours, I will earn money and bear the expenses of your household. And we have a comment here from Srila Maharaj. Tomar karje tade upar jivodan. In order to maintain what is yours, I will earn money. This practice is described as an integral limb of devotion in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Tad arte kila cheshtitam, performing all of one's endeavors for Krishna's sake. Okay, we'll go on to the next verse. Balo mandanahi jani sevak matra kori, tomar samsade ame vishoy prahadi. I do not know what is good or what is bad. I only serve. I am simply a guardian of the property within your household. So this is a very high level of consciousness. There's no good or bad anymore. There's no right or wrong. Simply, what is my service to Krishna? Whatever that may be. That's the only rule. What is pleasing to Krishna? Nothing else is important. What is pleasing to Guru, Vaishnava, the Lord? That is the only right. There's this verse that Srila Sridhar Maharaj in this regard, he quotes this one line, Tat parat vena nirmalam. Right? As much as it is in the connection of the central interest, so much it is pure. Purity, true purity can only be considered from that standpoint, not by some mundane measurement, but what is in the interest of the central, the center, the Lord. So much it is pure. Not considering relative conceptions of so-called purity or impurity, but what is the connection with the central interest, with the Lord's interest? So much it is pure. I am simply a guardian of the property within the house. There's another word for that. Marie, do you know what's that word? One of my friends, he was using it. Very nice word describing this role of like a caretaker or guardian. But there's a very, what did you say?
Steward. I would use the word
Steward. That's it. Yeah, that's a very nice. We're just stewards, right? We're just taking care. We're the caretaker. So a steward, right? They may be taking care of a billionaire's property, and they have access to so much, wealth and wonder in that property, but it is not theirs, right? They're just serving that place, but they also have access to all the resources in that place, but it is not theirs at the same time. If they're like a trusted steward, then they may have all the keys, they may have access to all the rooms, they can do pretty much anything they want, but at the same time, it's not theirs. This is the position of the surrendered soul. They have access to everything. They have access to all the wealth in the world. And they are accepting what is necessary for their service, right? Not more and not less. And we'll go on to verse 6 here. Tomar ichai mor injia chalana, shavan darshan gran, bojan vasana. I direct my senses, my desires for hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, and so forth, in accordance with your will. Wow, incredible, isn't it? Every moment, every breath, everything is an offering, a high state of consciousness. Everything is an expression of surrender, every breath, every movement, every word. And that was something that we felt in the person of our Gurudev. At every moment, he was living in this, plane of super consciousness. Always standing firm in the plane of dedication. Fixed, very fixed, completely fixed there. Everything was that was something that we felt, everything was an expression of service. Every movement, every thought, every word, every decision was always, and it is all, in connection with the higher plane. Going on to verse 7. Nija sukha lagi kichu nahi pariyar, bhakti vinod bole tava sukha. I no longer endeavor for my own happiness. Bhakti Vinod understands. Your satisfaction is the essence. Okay. Well, does anyone have any comments or questions? Should we move on to the next song? And welcome Abhishek Prabhu, who also joined us. And iPhone, I think that's at, so happy to have you all here. Okay, then should we go on then? Song. Chat. Okay, we'll go on to the next song.
বস্তুত সকলে তব জীব কেহ নয়,
বস্তুত সকলে তব জীব কেহ নয়।
অহং মম ভ্রমে ভ্রমি ভোগে শোক ভয়ে,
অহং মম ভ্রমে ভ্রমি ভোগে শোক ভয়।
অহং মম অভিমান এই মাত্র ধন,
অহং মম অভিমান এই মাত্র ধন।
বদ্ধ জীব নিজ বলি জানে মনে মান,
বদ্ধ জীবনী বলি জানে মনে মন।
সেই অভিমানে আমি সংসারে পড়িয়া,
সেই অভিমানে আমি সংসারে পড়িয়া,
হাবুডুবু খাই ভব সিন্ধু সাঁতারিয়া,
হাবুডুবু খাই ভব সিন্ধু সাঁতারিয়া।
তোমার অভয় পদে লইয়া শরণ,
তোমার অভয় পদে লইয়া শরণ।
আজি আমি করিলাম আত্মনিবেদন,
আজি আমি করিলাম আত্মনিবেদন।
অহং মম অভিমান ছাড়িল আমার,
অহং মম অভিমান ছাড়িল আমার।
আর যেন মম হৃদয়ে স্থান নাহি পায়,
আর যেন মম হৃদয়ে স্থান নাহি পায়।
এই মাত্র বল প্রভু দিবে আমারে,
এই মাত্র বল প্রভু দিবে হে আমারে।
অহংতা মমতা দুই পরি রাখিবারে,
অহং মমতা দিবে নাহি পারে।
আত্মনিবেদন ভাব হৃদে দৃঢ় রয়।
আত্মনিবেদন বাদিতে দৃঢ় হয়।
হস্তি স্নান সম যেন কণিক না হয়।
হস্তি স্নান সম যেন কণিক না হয়।
ভকতি বিনোদ প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ পায়।
ভকতি বিনোদ প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ পায়।
মাগে পরশা যায় অভিমান যায়।
মাগে পরসাদ যাহে অভিমান যায়।
ভকতি বিনোদ প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ পায়।
ভকতি বিনোদ প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ পায়।
মাগে পরশা যায় অভিমান যায়।
মাগে পরসাদ যাহে অভিমান যায়।
All right, another beautiful song, Atmanivedana section. Welcome, Ganavila, just joined.
Hare Krishna. Who was singing? That sounded very, very nice.
That is Kamal Krishna, who you actually met last year in our Navadvip Mat. He's living there now. Yeah, and our Gurudev mentioned he liked his singing very much. So he has Gurudev's blessing. He's singing as Gurudev's blessing.
Why? Is he Indian bodied?
He's Bengali. Yes, he's Bengali.
Ah,
Okay, we'll go through this. Vastuta Sakali, and he was a very nice devotee. He was our Gurudev's personal servant for a short time.
oh, I know. He got initiation recently, didn't he?
Initiation?
Yeah, he became a sannyasin.
No. You're thinking of someone else. He has a family.
No, Gopal, a former Gopal.
Yeah, you're thinking of someone else. Yeah. This is Kamal Krishna. That was
Look.
Gopal.
Thank you.
Okay, so here we go. Song 14. Vastuta Sakali Tava Jiva Ke Hunoi. Aham Mama Brahme Brahme Boge Shokagoy. In reality, everything is yours. Nothing belongs to the soul. However, wandering throughout material existence, bewildered by misconceptions of I and mine, the soul laments and fears. Aham mama abhiman e matradan, bada jiva nija boli jane moniman. So, Bhakti Vinod is continuing with this theme, right? This awareness. He's elaborating on this theme, this awareness that the surrendered soul has, right? That everything belongs to the Lord. And such awareness is very liberating, actually. And as it mentions here, when we're bewildered by conceptions of I and mine, right? False sense of identity, false sense of ownership. This is what causes lamentation and fear. But when we recognize that everything belongs to the Lord, including ourselves, then that is actually very liberating reality to live in. Deep within, the conditioned soul considers his conceptions of I and mine to be his only well. Se abhimane ami samsare poriya, habu dugu kai baba sindhu satariya. Having fallen into this world due to such misconception, I flounder as I try to swim within this ocean of material existence. Tomar aboy pade loya sharan, ajiami korilam atmanivedan. Taking shelter at your feet, which are the abode of fearlessness, I have submitted myself unto you today. Aham mama abhiman chadilo amai, arjeno mama hriday stan nahi pai. E macha bolo prabhu dibe he amade, aham ta mama ta dore, padi nakibade. Those misconceptions of I and mine have now left me, O Lord, so that they will never attain a place within my heart again. Please give me just this one ability, that I may be able to keep all false egotism and possessiveness far away. So this is a very interesting expression. Right? The only prayer of the devotee, the only desire of the devotee is that they won't have any desire. Right? That they won't have any desire to own anything or possess anything in this plane. Right? And we're reminded of, and this is in the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. I think everyone here is familiar with the Leela of Prahlad Maharaj. He's the boy saint. And, Nrsimhadev, half man, half lion, avatar, comes to rescue him from his wicked father, Hiranyakashipu. But there's this one moment, right, after Nrsimhadev has come and destroyed the evil Hiranyakashipu and, expressed his love for Prahlad. And at a certain point, Nrsimhadev, he tells Prahlad, I want to give you some boon. I'm so pleased with you and your devotion. I want to offer some boon as an expression of my love for you. And Prahlad, first of all, he says he's not very happy about that offer, actually, because he says it, why do I need anything from you? I just love you and I want to serve you. Why would I need anything in return? And there's this one line there. How does it go? The Arnabritya, that they are not a servant. If someone is serving you, nasa britya savai vani, right? It says if someone is serving you with some desire for something in return in their heart, they are not a real devotee, they are not a real servant, but they are merchants, right? They're doing business with you. And I don't want to do business with you, my Lord. But then finally he says, well, but if you insist, then I'll ask you for this one thing. My only prayer to you is that I may never have any desire to ask you for anything. That is my only prayer, that I always may be free from that. The only prayer that the devotee has is that they can always remember the Lord, always have the desire to serve the Lord. Mahaprabhu expresses that in his Shikshashtakam, right? Najanam, nasundaram, kavitam majagadisha kamaye, mama janmani shware, bhavatad bhaktir haitu kitayi. I don't desire wealth, followers, name, fame, even liberation from this world, but let me take birth again and again. I have no desire even to be free from samsara. But my only prayer, Mama janmani, bhavatad bhaktir ahaitu kitu. I may always have this causeless, pure, unmotivated devotion for you. So this sentiment being expressed in the song, Bhakti Vinata. So wonderful to go through these prayers, so purifying. And so Srila Sridhar Maharaj has a comment here in his Bhavu Chandrika Bhashya. Welcome, Ramananda Prabhu joined us. Welcome, Prabhu. So here's Srila Sridhar Maharaj's comment. Vastuta sakalitava stannahi pai. Everything is yours. May the misconceptions of I and mine never attain a place within my heart again. The principle underlying this prayer to surrender oneself to the Lord is expressed in the Padma Purana and cited in Sri Sri Prapana Jivanamritam. May the misconceptions of I and mine never attain a place within my heart again. And now this is this verse from Padma Purana. Aham kritir makarasya nakarasthani shedakaha tasmatu namasa kshetri satantriyam pratishidyate Bhagavad pada tancho so tadaya tatma jivanaha tasmat swa samartya vidim jajat sarvam sheshakaha. And the word namaha, okay, yes, I remember this verse. This is Srila Maharaj cites this in the first chapter of Prapana Jivanamrita, or second if you count the first as the introduction. Shastra Vachanamritam is the name of the chapter. Nectar of scriptural words, citations from various scriptures. So is a very interesting explanation here for this word nama, because you'll hear this word namaha a lot, right? In many of our prayers to the Lord, to the Vaishnavas, you'll hear this word namaha, and generally it means like obeisances, giving respect, giving honor. But this verse is explaining like breaking this word up. What is it actually saying? It's a negation of the self, of the false sense of ego. Na ma, right? Not me, not I. In the word namaha, obeisance, the syllable ma indicates the self-asserting ego, ahankar. Literally, I am the doer. And the syllable na indicates its prevention. Thus, the act of offering obeisance, namaha, nullifies the offerer's independence. The soul is by nature subordinate to the Supreme Lord. The soul's innate function is servitude to him. Therefore, all actions performed with the conception, I am the doer, should be utterly abandoned. It's something really to reflect on, because as we go on with our practice day by day, it's easy to become mechanical, right? About the way in which we do things. And how many times, if you're living in a temple or visiting a temple, how many times are we giving obeisance, whether on the ground or with folded hands, right? So many times throughout the day. But are we actually thinking about what that means? Or has it just become like a physical act? Right? And our gurus also give this explanation, right? And this is the Vedic idea too, that we're putting our head at the feet of that higher entity, right? What does that represent? Our head represents the highest point of our existence. And we are putting like the height of the highest reach of our understanding, our attainment, we're putting that at the lowest portion of that higher entity. So that is a very profound expression of surrender. Okay, we'll go on to verse 7 here. Atma nivedam va vidajudarai hasti snan samajena panikana hoy. May the mood of self-submission remain steadfast within my heart. May it not remain only momentarily. Like the cleanliness of an elephant. So this is a very Indian analogy, right? It is an analogy that is used in the scriptures at different places, because it is said that the elephant, after it takes bath, it goes and rolls in the dust, right? So it becomes dirty right away again. But this is I love this, right? Because this is something we can relate to. May it not remain only momentarily, right? This is the nature of we conditioned souls, right? We have our bursts of enthusiasm, our spurts of, dedication and wanting to dive in. And then, they last a few hours, last a few days, then we feel the pull of the material energy again. So this steadiness, right? Or sometimes it may last a good few years, right? It may have a good run of a few years. And then we go off track, right? And this is, of course, why we adopt sadhana. Sadhana means like we're making a commitment to go on practicing, even if we're not in the mood. We could define sadhana in this way, right? That whether I feel like it or I don't feel like it, I'm going to do it, right? So this is commitment, right? So this is very beautiful and very relevant. We're aspiring for this steadiness in devotion, our steadiness in our enthusiasm. Okay, we'll go on to this next verse. Bhakti Vinod Prabhu Nityananda Pai Mage Parashad Jahe Abhimana Jai. At Sri Nityananda Prabhu's feet, Bhakti Vinod prays for the mercy by which the misconceptions of I and mine are dispelled forever. So this is quite a profound point, right? Because ultimately it is by mercy that we can have this type of purification, right? It is mercy. We're depending on mercy on our own strength. By our own strength, we can have some temporary, experience of that type of liberation. But for permanent attainment of that, we need mercy, we need grace. And we have a comment here from Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Nityananda Pai at Sri Nityananda Prabhu's feet, by the mercy of Sri Guru, who is non-different from Sri Nityananda Prabhu, all misconception, self-establishing ego is destroyed, and servitude to the Vaishnavas is realized. At the mercy of Sri Guru, non-different from Nityananda, all misconception is destroyed, and servitude to the Vaishnavas is realized. Beautiful. So this feeling of helplessness is actually being expressed here, right? And this is what I'm aspiring for, but on my own, it is not possible. I'm depending on the grace of the Lord, the Guru, Nityananda Prabhu, the Vaishnavas, by which they may be dispelled forever. Okay, well, does anyone in our group want to share any thoughts on what we've been through, or has a question? Ramananda Prabhu has his hand raised. Yes, Prabhu.
Nandwas, thank you, Vishaka Didi. Yeah,
Nandavat.
Nandwas. Yeah, I was thinking. I was actually thinking how Nityananda Prabhu so merciful. See, he gave 2 to Chila Jiva Goswami of Navdvip Dham. Yeah. I was thinking. I've been praying, but also we are aspiring Rupa Nuga. So I don't know. Sometimes I get confused which way to go. I go different places. Actually, last night I went to some temple. They have nice deities, Mahaprabhu and Radha Madan Mohan, very beautiful deities. We did kirtan. We had nice prasad. I just go to see what we have. That way, if you have something, you compare. Then you learn what you have, what you need more. But yeah, I love Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj's conception is so high. He makes so easy. And it's so high, so sweet. So, I don't know. I am simple guy. See, I was lucky Gurudev came our home here, other place. And so I don't know. I try to see everybody as a family, but then there are other things. Guru Maharaj says it's a hospital. So I don't know how to deal with all those crazy things or crazy people. So I just stay home and I just don't go so much. I try to remind myself, Guru Maharaj said, tolerate. Tattenu kampam. You tolerate. The Lord is watching, Gurudev is watching. So I don't know. Try to follow that. But you make it more real, yeah. It's all about Śaraṇāgati, yeah. we're progressing slowly. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's yeah, I'm lucky I have that book. It's only, I think, 3,000 copies. We are all lucky. It's Tyagi Maharaj did a good job by Acharya Maharaj grace by Gurudev's. Yeah, yeah, it's yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, yeah, it's I don't know. I like to preach also, but I don't know. Sometimes I think I don't have much. So how I preach? The Mahaprabhu said, become guru on my order. Whoever you see, you preach.
We
Yeah.
appreciate your sincere, heartfelt expressions, Prabhu.
No, you inspiring me. See, you have so much love for Gurudev, for mission. I was thinking how to develop love for Gurudev. I used to have a lot of love for Gurudev, but I don't know. When I saw him suffer and other things, then I don't know. So I kind of, I don't know, fell on my face, going through some different things. Yeah, but I'm lucky still hanging in there. Yeah. No, you very kind. You are, because you live with Gurudev. Gurudev came here in this house. Gurudev hugged me many times. I didn't know what is Guru. Gurudev said one time, Guru is Nityananda. Ultimately, Guru is Radharani. So I don't know. I sometimes get, I'm not so intelligent. I didn't read so many scripture, but you, we all have affection. So you share very nicely. So it helped me kind of clear my heart and mind. Yeah, it's so many anarthas. I'm going through different things. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. You very kind. Yeah.
I mean, you've raised a good point, and it is a tricky point to understand actually, because we hear, right, that Nityananda is the original guru, and then we also hear sometimes Radharani, she represents the highest guru, and both are true, but we need to have some broadness in our understanding of all these things. And what is guru? No, guru is who is giving us connection with the Lord, right? And so at different stages in our development, then that may, who is guru, that may change, right? According to our stage. And we hear that in Vrindavan, right, Nityananda Balaram, he is in charge of the first 4 rasas, right? Balaram, he is in Sakya Vatsalya rasa with Krishna. That is his relationship with Krishna. Friendship, Sakya ras, and Vatsalya. Vatsalya means the mood of a guardian, like a superior to Krishna. And then the 5th is the amorous lover's relationship, right? So basically, Balaram is the big brother. Right? And that position of Vatsalya, parental guardian relationship, that includes the other rasas of Shanta, the passive relationship, Dasya, the active servitor relationship, and Sakya, the friendship relationship. They're all included within Vatsalya, that guardian parental mood. So Nityananda, he's like in charge of those 4 rasas. But then the 5th rasa, he's not directly involved there because that's beyond his jurisdiction as the big brother, right? There isn't a space for the big brother in the lover's relationship that, his younger brother Krishna has with his girlfriends, right? So Radharani, she is the mistress of that department, and she's giving entrance into that department. And so according to our evolution, right, at one stage, we will, and that is really the safest vision for us and most relevant at our stage, to see our guru as representative of Nityananda, right? But much later, if we have such mercy, right, in our evolution, then we may, one may ultimately attain entrance into that higher realm of service. And there Radharani she is ruling. She's the queen of Krishna's homeland, right? As our one very sweet way our Gurudev expressed it. So it is depending upon our stage. And And we hear our gurus, they have expressed that type of sentiment. You know, we hear Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. You know, that's how, you know, he saw Bhakti Vinod Thakur in that way. Which is very interesting because Bhakti Vinod was actually his biological father. But he didn't see him like that. He saw him as his guru. And not only that, but as representation of Radharani. And there was one article, there was some talk he gave where he spoke on this point. And it was published as an article. And it was called Baba Bada Radha. Baba's father. Bada means obstacle. Baba Bada Radha. Saying that it, you know, meaning that it will be an obstacle, right, to see, you know, who is actually the delegation of Radharani in such a mundane way, right, as one's father. And I believe there was also some type of clarification in regards to one of his brothers who had another type of vision, right, of their father. So, and this was something Saraswati Thakur spoke about, actually. He had this very high vision of Bhakti Vinod Thakur as Radharani.
Yeah, thanks for reminding that. I knew that, I heard that, but I don't know how to kind of fit in the puzzle. I heard of that, yeah. Was Bimala Prasad, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta brother. So
Lalit Prasad was his brother.
Yeah, Lalit Prasad, yeah. Thank you.
So, you know, in our current stage, you know, we are putting more focus on Nityananda Prabhu, and he is also known as the supreme giver of mercy, right, which we are so much in need of. So we are seeing our Guru in that way, a person that is most appropriate for us.
Thank you so much for clarifying.
Thank you for bringing up the topic.
No. Yeah, Gurudev used to tell us sincerity and chastity. Sincerity and chastity will give a super benefit. So I don't know. I like to, earlier I used not to go, but now it's a different, Sokhal is too far and different things. So I just stay here, I go closer. Then I forget, but they can feel the potency, they can feel the Gurudev mercy. I go one temple, they have beautiful Radha Krishna. And their pujari is so humble, he's so respectful. And he offered me prasadam, very nice. He took me his home, very humble. They chant Radha, Radha. Their guru also helped me. I listen to him. My mom met him actually. He's fifth Jagat Guru actually, Kripaluji. Shankaracharya even more. He cites all the scriptures. And I listened to him. He explained so nicely because I lived in temple. I didn't hear. I wasn't ready. I guess